Hey guys, so this is a very impromptu video because as I'm sure you all know, tomorrow is the release day of Queen of Air and Darkness. Hey guys, so this is going to be a very impromptu video because tomorrow is the release day of Queen of Air and Darkness. I am so excited for this book to be released. I pre-ordered it months ago, so I'm so excited. Hopefully it comes here soon so I can read it, but I also hope it takes a while because I'm scared. Anyways, yes, so this video is going to be my theories and predictions for the book. A tad late since, yeah, it's released tomorrow, but what can you do? I had planned to do this video ages ago. I finished Lord of Shadows last year in July, and I have been planning to do a theory and prediction video for ages, but me being me, it obviously didn't happen. But here we are, the day before. I'm going to start off with my theories, which I only really have one that I'm going to talk about, and just my overall predictions for the book. My theories, well, my theory may be quite similar to some other people's theories. I have seen people say the same things in comments of Sandra Clare's stuff, or anything relating to these books, because we all read the same books. So it's quite possible that we'll come up with the same theories for things. So yeah, so my main theory is revolved around Ash, who was introduced in the last book. He's the fairy boy that Drusilla ends up in that weird cube thing. I forget what it's called. I mean, it's been a year since I read the book, but she ends up in the weird Rosalis fairy cube thing, and she meets the fairy kid named Ash, and it's weird and it's a bit strange, and he's obviously, to me, underground because he's surrounded by walls, and then he goes, "Where's my mum? Is my mum coming?" or something like that. And my main theory is that he is the Unseelie King's long lost kid. Just to familiarize yourself again, did I say that right? I don't know. But the Unseelie King had a kid who was lost as a baby, I think, but he was either killed or stolen. I think he was stolen, and I think the Seelie Queen stole him. And I think that Ash is that kid, but since he looks 13, he is in a weird little time loop. So he's aging very, very, very slowly, because if he was the first son of the Unseelie King, he'd be a lot older, because Kieran is his half-brother, and he looks about 18 or 20, and he is older as well in fairy years. He's pretty old, I think. And all the other brothers are way older as well, so I think Ash is the first son of the Unseelie King, and he was stolen by the Seelie Queen, because, that's just how she is, I suppose. It just seemed like something she'd do. To go off from that, I have two parts to that as well. It's either her actual kid that she had with the Unseelie King and she stole him, or, and this is what I mainly believe, it's not her child at all. She just stole him out of spite of the Unseelie King. Mayhaps back in the day, the king chose someone else and not the Seelie Queen, and so that's what she did. She stole their child out of spite and kept it with her. And he is basically just brought up as her son, kept away secret in another fairy magic time loopy. Hence why he is so young. For what purpose? I'm not sure. Maybe the Seelie Queen has a plan for him. Since things are kind of going a bit hokey pokey in fairy, she'll probably bring him out earlier to be like, haha, it's your kid, but he's my kid, kind of thing. I don't know. But whatever it is, that's what I think. So there's another theory out there that I just don't like, and I have heard this a lot, and I've read this a lot in comments on things and just people talking about it, is that Ash, the little fairy prince, is Sebastian's kid with the Seelie Queen. It doesn't make sense. Logically, it doesn't make sense, because the events of the Mortal Instruments was 7 years ago, right? Ash is a 13-year-old kid. It says his age, he's 13. And that'd be, if he is, that's just well, there goes the fairy time thrown out the window, because fairy time works the other way. If you're in fairy, it feels like not that much time has passed, and then when you leave, a lot of time has passed, much like for Mark when he's in Fairy, he doesn't feel like a lot of time's passed, and when he actually is out, he's like, oh my god, 7 years has passed. My, like, baby siblings are now teenagers. This is weird. If Ash is actually Sebastian's kid, it'd be the other way around. He would be, like, 4, if that was the case, because he's a fairy, and they have immortal life. He wouldn't be a 13-year-old boy when, if it's true, he was conceived 7 years ago. Like, that doesn't make sense. And also, if he does turn out to be Sebastian Morganson's kid, I'm going to be highly disappointed in Cassandra Clare, because why? First of all, as gross and evil as Sebastian was, it doesn't seem like a thing he'd do. He was very on the mark of pure blood, you know, and very, like, making sure it stays within the bloodline. So, like, why would he have a child with a fairy queen? But anyways, yes, my theory is that Ash is the Unseelie King's kid. The Seelie Queen stole him in spite, just to be like, haha, stole your kid. She's probably going to use him for something in the future, and he is not Sebastian's son, because I swear to God, if he is, I'm not going to be happy. Now, on to my predictions. So my predictions for this, I think, and I hate to say it, but I really think that Magnus Bane is going to die. Which will suck, because Magnus is actually my favourite character throughout the entire series. He's always just been this wise, you know, just the grounding character who, like, gives advice and he's like, yo, you're an idiot, don't do that. But also, he has character, you know? He's great. He's amazing. He's the best. But I think he's gonna die because he's getting sick. There's something going around for the Warlocks. Tessa is getting sick as well. So I think he is going to go. And as well, like, in the beginning of Lord of Shadows, when Mark wins that goldfish and he calls it Magnus Bane, and then he's like, oh no, the fish died. And I was like, what does that mean? Did you just hint of Magnus's death? Like, is Magnus gonna die? So yeah, I just have a slight tingly feeling that Magnus might die. That's my prediction. As sad as it's gonna be, I think that's gonna happen. My other prediction is Clary isn't gonna die. You know, where she was like talking to Emma and she's like, Emma, I'm gonna die. I had a vision that I'm gonna die. My prediction is she isn't, and her vision was wrong. Her vision was wrong, and she's not going to die, because if she does die, that's lazy writing, Cassandra Clare. I'm sorry, but it is. No one died in the Mortal Instruments. They had 2 wars, or 3 wars, I don't know. No one died. They literally went to hell. The gang literally went to hell, and no one died. Even Simon, who there was this whole dealio of him sacrificing himself, giving up all of his memories, that was thrown out the window because he remembered everything, because Clary kept coming back to him and he remembered, you know, like that whole sacrifice, that whole entire tense emotional moment was chucked out the window because Simon remembered, la-di-doo-di-dee, he's now a shadow hunter and he's married to Isabel. So no one died in that series, and it really annoyed me. So if Clary actually does die in this, I'm gonna be mad, because you should have killed her off in the Mortal Instruments, because we don't know who this Clary is. 7 years has passed. She's probably a whole different Clary. We don't know who she is. You should have killed her off in City of Heavenly Fire if you wanted her to die in this one, because it would have been more impactful. Like, if Clary dies, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, sad, but also like, eh. So my other prediction about Emma and Julian, the Parabatai thing, I think there's a way to break it. I think it's going to be one of them isn't a shadow hunter anymore, and I bet you it's going to be Emma. Do you know why? Because Julian has the kids. He has to look after them. He's going to have to be strong enough to look after them. So I think Emma's going to take it, and it's going to be a blow on her, because she's the greatest warrior of her age. She's like a really good shadow hunter of her generation, but she's going to take the sacrifice because Julian should be strong enough to look after his family. That's what I think, anyways. Because, yeah, that's what I think is going to go down for the Parabatai. One of them's going to have to relinquish their shadow hunterness. to stop the rune from working, because as we know, the Parabatai rune, you can't fall in love if you're Parabatai because it doesn't end well. So even if she relinquishes her Shadowhunterness, she can't become a Shadowhunter later on because it'll just turn on the Parabatai rune again, essentially. It's going to be a good character development on Emma, I think, because she's all about being the best warrior, being the best hunter, la-di-doo-di-dee. It's basically who she is, so without that Shadowhunterness, it's like, well, now you gotta learn how to be human, because as what Kit lovingly said, you're literally nothing without your runes. Or was it Kit? Was it Malcolm? I think it was Malcolm. I don't know, but someone said you're nothing without your runes, so there you go. Which is so true. They're literally nothing without their runes. If they don't have their runes, they're not that... I mean, they're pretty fit, but like, yeah. Now, going back to Magnus dying, why I think he's going to die is purely because... Well, I don't know, maybe it just gets to him more. Maybe it's because he's so old that it attacks him more than it should have or something. Tessa, on the other hand, I don't think she's going to die purely because she's half Warlock, half Shadowhunter, or Nephilim. And that's why I think that's going to kick it back, because she's only half Warlock. And personally, if Tessa dies, I mean, Jem's been waiting for a very long time. He's only been Shadowhunter for like 7 years, and he's not even a Shadowhunter anymore. I'm pretty sure he's human now as well, so he ages. Or, my other prediction is that it's the same thing with the Parabatai rune, is that for some strange reason, maybe there's a way to opt out of being a Warlock. Like, maybe there's a way to relinquish your Warlockness, so that makes Magnus become human, because that's like their whole debate. Him and Alec are always like, oh, yeah. Like, I'm gonna grow old, your kids are gonna grow old. Well, probably not their kids since they're warlocks as well, but Alec is gonna grow old and die. And also he's a Shadowhunter, so he's always in the line of duty, so easy death. Whereas with Magnus, it's like he's gonna not grow old and always be alive, so maybe there's a way to take away his warlock powers, which will thus save him, but he'll be human. So to summarize, my predictions are Magnus will die, which is going to be horribly sad, but I just think it's going to happen. Or he'll relinquish his warlock powers and save him. Clary isn't going to die, because that's stupid if she does, and it's lazy writing. And she should have, if she does die, she should have died in City of Heavenly Fire. Emma and Julian, to stop the Parabatai thing from happening, well, essentially they're going to find out a way to stop it, and I bet you the way of how to stop the Parabatai thing is that one of them has to relinquish their Shadowhunterness, which will be Emma, who will become human. And yeah, I think this video was a bit random and all over the place, but there you go, that's just my theories and predictions. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen in the next book. I'm very excited to read it. I know it's going to be intense and tough. I hope there are good endings, and I hope things make sense, and yes. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments what you think or what your predictions are or theories. I'd really like to know. And yeah, goodbye.